Shana Tova. And welcome back. We're starting early today, which is, I think, a Jewish record. So only on Zoom do we keep such attention to time, but we'll begin. And today, the second day of Rosh Hashana. I know before the service began, people were talking about that first day of Rosh Hashana and how amazing that we really did get the opportunity to pray and to focus and to do the things we're supposed to do on this holiday. And so today, a second day of Rosh Hashana, does exactly what the high holidays are supposed to do altogether. It gives us a second chance. And so we have a second chance and a more leisurely, relaxed chance on this second day to reflect and consider and to pray and to hope and to sing and to celebrate our new year. So with that, we're going to have by now, our very good friend, Carrie, who is hosting our service. We're going to have her begin. And before she actually does that, I want you to know that we're going to be praying on our own without interruption. So I want to remind you to have your books in hand. And we're going to stop. We'll stop right at, probably at Lador Vador. I think that's where we'll take a little pause. So, Carrie.
Perfect. I think we're ready to begin. Would you like me to do a tech overview real quick, Rabbi?
Anybody have any questions or want a reminder? You know, I'll tell you something that I keep forgetting, which is in the, at least on my laptop, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little box all the way in the upper right-hand corner that says enter full screen. And I love to be on full screen because then I don't see the desktop of my computer. And
yeah, we'll go through that real quick for everybody. So when you do that, so your top right-hand corner button is your gallery view and speaker view. And you can choose which point of view to see when we're all chatting together. I'm going to cancel Rabbi Spotlight video. So you can go back and forth with speaker view and gallery view, but when we're running the service, we'll be sharing the screen. And at that point, you can go into full screen. Usually it defaults to full screen. And if you don't want to see all the pictures of everybody, there's just a little line in the top box in the corner. You can just click that little tiny line. It's like a dash, and that will remove everybody's pictures. Of course, you know how to use the chat box down in the bottom. We'll be using that to say hello, post your greetings to everybody. Everybody is on mute right now. We might open up our mutes again at the end for everyone to say goodbye to each other. So with that, I think we're ready to go, Rabbi. As soon as you are ready, we're going to roll the service.
I am ready. Let's go.
Here we go.
Please rise for the opening prayer before the Ark. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai our God. Hineni, here I am. Hinenu, here we are, to greet the new year, to convene with you. May we remember what we were made for, to shine love upon the world, and to care for our fellow human beings.
Give us strength, O God, in this time of crisis in our world. Bring peace and hope and promise to all of us who come here today to usher in the new year of 5781. May the sun rise on us all in the new year ahead. May we embrace change in the new year ahead. May healing come to all who are ill. May faith come to all who despair. Shower us with love, O God. Then surely this will be a sweet new year for us all. Amen. Shana Tova. Did you rise? Did you sit? Are you distracted by things in your room? Did you create a sanctuary? I'm looking out at all of you. And you know, we're all new at this. We're new at these virtual services. We're new looking at empty chairs in the sanctuary. But I want you to know, I see you. I see you, my front row people. I see you. And the tall gentlemen who tower above the others when we rise, I see you too. And I see our cantor Jen Boyle, who in very short order has become our cantor. She is a part of us. And for that, we are deeply, deeply grateful. And Walter Stutzman, we are so, so thankful for your presence this morning, and especially at our high holy days. And so I welcome you all, those who are in town, those who are out of town, those who are newcomers to TBT, those who are regulars at TBT. I welcome you to our sanctuary. It's a delight to be here in the sanctuary. It's a privilege to be here in the sanctuary. And your homes are sanctuaries too. You are what we fondly call the TBT Annex. And so let's create sanctuary together. And upon seeing the sanctuary for the first time, it is traditional to sing the words of Ma Tovu. So please turn to page 110. And Cantor, would you lead us in the singing of Ma Tovu?
Ma Tovu.
Today is different. Today is Rosh Hashana. It's the birthday of the world. And we honor that birthday with special tunes, special liturgy, special words. So we turn now to page 141 for our Chatzi Kaddish. Please listen carefully to this beautiful nusach, this beautiful tone that we set for entering into a new year. Page 142, we rise for Baruch Hu. Page 150, we continue with the Shema.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The Israelites walked right into the Reed Sea. They did it 1 foot at a time. What were they thinking about as the water rose up their legs, chilling their hearts, advancing toward their open mouths? We are doing our own walk today, here, now, 1 foot at a time. And on our better days, it's forward. Alone, I can't reach the far shore without drowning. Somehow I don't go under. The person to my right holds me up. Something I can't see holds him up. Blessed is the source of help, so often unexpected. I step forward, even though the sea is vast. Where is it? Where is it that Israel gets the courage, the chutzpah, to go on believing in redemption, to sing Mi Chamocha, in a world that knows mass hunger, racial upheaval, political exile, poverty, war, and disease? How can Jews testify to hope and human value when we have been continuously persecuted and hated and expelled and destroyed? We do so by remembering the Exodus. We remember the stories of our slavery. Remember those stories and you will never stop working for freedom. Remember the fear of coming to the edge of the sea, and self-doubt will never defeat you. Remember when desperation turned into timbrels and celebration, and you will never let go of hope. Remember these words of the Baal Shem Tov: forgetfulness leads to exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. We remember the singing, and we sing right now. Page 164, Mi Chamocha.
Shir
page 166. As we prepare for our tefillah, we heed the words of Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. Make every effort to pray from the heart. Even if you don't succeed, the effort is precious in the eyes of the Eternal One. We rise for our Amidah.
Adonai, sefatai tifta, ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hadara, El Hayom, Gomer Chasarim Tovim, V'Kotlei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Be'imahot, U'Mevii Geulah Livnei Bneihem, Le'man Shemo Be'avam. Zochreinu, Zochreinu, Zochreinu l'chaim. Melech, Melech, Hafitz v'chaim. V'chodvenu, V'chodvenu, b'sefer ha'chaim. Lemancha, Lemancha, Elohim Chaim. Zochreinu, Zochreinu, Zochreinu l'chaim. Melech, Melech, Hafitz v'chaim. V'chodvenu, V'chodvenu, b'sefer ha'chaim. Lemancha, Lemancha, Elohim Chaim. Melech Ozer, u'Moshiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Amen. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah, Rav le'Hoshia. Mechagel chayim b'chesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech nobeim b'recholim, u'matir asurim, u'mkayem emunato
Please be seated as we turn to page 174. And I'm afraid to say that we have arrived at that most heart-wrenching of prayers, the Unatana Tokef, the prayer where we say who shall live and who shall die and in what ways and at what time. And I have more people in the congregation coming up to me suggesting that we omit that prayer, and that we particularly omit that prayer this year. We're already in so much pain, we don't need more. But having our eyes wide open is a balm, is healing. Having awareness helps lead us to where we hope to be. And so, indeed, on this day, we say, Uvechen, nevertheless, we shall proclaim the power of this day. It is a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe, and it inspires highest praise for your dominion, O God, because your throne is a throne of love, and your reign is a reign of truth. Emet ki atahu dayan. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal. You record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. Uveshofar gadol yitaka. Page 176. And so a great shofar will cry out tekiah, and a still small voice will be heard. Angels, in a whirl of fear and trembling, will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you, like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers its flock when it passes beneath the staff, so you count and consider each of our lives. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments. On Rosh Hashana it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed.
Rosh Hashana, Yikatebon, Ubyom Sam Kippur, Ubyom Sam Kippur, Yekatebon, Ubyom Sam Kippur, Ubyom Sam Kippur.
On Rosh Hashana it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by beast? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. Science and faith, often considered contradictory, but they are not. We have faith in science, and science has regard for faith when we can put them together appropriately. Page 181, we continue with this responsive reading. I speak these words, but I don't believe them.
The Lord God formed man from the dust of the earth.
Clearly, there's no scientific foundation.
You know how we are formed. You remember that we are dust.
And human beings are the gloriously complex product
Remember that we are dust.
of evolution from single-celled organisms.
Remember that we are dust.
And as for our end, well, no need to dwell on that right now.
By the sweat of your brow shall you get bread to eat, until you return to the ground.
So much to do and so many ways to keep busy.
For from it were you taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return.
For what would it mean if it were true, after all? Page 182. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We wear out our lives to get our bread like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, near dust on the wind, a dream that flies away. Together, but for you, ever-living sovereign, time has no limits. Your presence, unbounded by days and years, is everywhere. A glorious mystery none can decipher. Your name is worthy of you, and you are worthy of your name, and our name you have linked with yours. Page 184, we rise for Kedusha.
Oh,
Oh, please be seated. Take a deep, deep breath after that beautiful Kedusha. And we're shifting gears now, too, as we move to the service for the sounding of the shofar. The shofar service actually has 3 sections, and each of those 3 sections has 3 sets of blasts, and we're separating them. They appear at different times through our service so that we can wake you up with the shofar blasts. That's their goal, that's their job. So we're doing our job if it wakes you up. Each of the 3 sections has a different value connected to it. The first, Malchuyot, is a call for leadership. And we pray for wondrous leadership to unite our world and to lead us forward. And the second section is called Zichronot, and it's a prayer thanking God for memory. And we pray to remember those who came before us and how they were able to move forward. And the third section, Shofarot, is the call for hope and redemption, that we too may yet redeem our world. The first set, Malchuyot, is introduced with what we call the Great Aleinu, a very special Aleinu that you can find on page 202. And so I would ask you indeed to please rise for the Great Aleinu. As the shofar blowers take their places, we recite the blessings for the shofar. Page 206. And yes, it is true, we are alone here in the sanctuary, and yes, it is true that it is not a good idea to blow the shofar in the sanctuary. And so in a moment, we're going to take you outside for our shofar blowing service. But first, our blessing. For the sounding of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai shomea kol truat amo Yisrael barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Tekiah. Shavarim. Truah. Tekiah Gedolah. Yehi ratzon Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu. May it be God's will to hear our cry, to hear our voice, to hear the blast of the shofar, sounding for hope, for healing of our broken world, for redemption in the year to come. Amen.
Utkabel berachamim, berachamim avratzam, seder, seder, mochoyotenu, areshet sefatenu, yerav lefanecha, el ram benisa, areshet sefatenu, yerav lefanecha, el ram benisa.
Page 220. Yehiyu l'ratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha, Adonai tzori v'goali. May the words of our mouths and the blasts on our shofar, the meditations of our heart, and the voices of our souls be acceptable to you, soul of eternity, our rock and our Redeemer.
Rabbi, is this the right spot?
We need that Osei Shalom from Steve and Amy.
Hold on one second.
You just teased us for a second. We were all ready to listen to their beautiful.
Shalom Aleinu, V'Yaakov Yisrael, V'Yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom V'Roma, U'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Yaakov Yisrael, V'Yimru Amen. U'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu v'Yakol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom V'Roma, U'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Yakol Yisrael, V'Yimru Amen. V'Yakol Yisrael,
Now that is indeed the spot, Carrie, and you can either, oh, you did spotlight me. Okay, so we get to take a little bit of a breather here, and I just wanted to say a few things, and I want you to say a few things. This is our check-in time. So actually, I know I'm spotlighted here, but if you can all go to gallery view, then we get to see each other here. And a couple of things. I was thinking, where are the Steins? This, the Stein family, they're here. Oh, they're probably on my second page. Oh, or third page. Oh my goodness.
Feel free to open your mics and say
all that. No, we got a lot of people here. Isn't that something? So while the Steins were singing L'Ador Vador, I was eager to let you know, and I see Rob Jacoby here. There's our Sanctuary Design Committee. And I was also eager to let you know that L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godlecha, from generation to generation, we at TBT have chosen that verse to be a verse that will be up on the sanctuary wall, L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godlecha, because it's so important that teaching that about passing on our values from generation to generation. But so too, I was thinking the importance is, the responsibility is on us, the parents and the grandparents and the teachers to transmit these teachings to our young. But it had to make me smile to think it is indeed two directional, as we heard from Molly Babin yesterday, and as Evan and Noah were participating in that beautiful piece with their father, David, that we're being inspired from generation to generation, from our youth to our elders, and that's also a wonderful, wonderful thing. I also had to privately chat with our cantor as we were listening to her singing, and I was watching her and I asked her, what's it like to watch yourself sing? And I also want to share with you that Cantor Boyle came to us on July 1st. And it was then, it was such a rapid motion decision-making. None of us knew what we were doing. You remember when COVID started and we thought 2 weeks and we'll be back in business, and then we weren't. And so it was July 1st. And I looked at Bruce Topolowski, and who's our building construction chair. And I said, Bruce, how long are we gonna have access to the sanctuary? And he said, oh, about 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks? I said, we won't be able to go in the sanctuary in 2 weeks? We've got the high house. What are we going to do? And then, and Cantor, the Cantor came July 1st. And Cantor, when did you get married? What was the date of your wedding?
July 6th.
July 6th. So the Cantor came, she was getting married. And I said, we have to do the high holidays. We just, the high holidays are happening like in another week. And I said, so get that marriage done, you know, and make sure your bags are unpacked. And what you've really got to do is meet Walter Stutzman, because he's your accompanist and you've never met him before. And oh, you do different tunes? No, you got to do our tunes. Oh, just learn them. Just learn them. And oh, and then we couldn't sing in the sanctuary. So we went to John Lesage. I said, John Lesage, you've got to build like plexiglass so that we can be safe in the sanctuary. And God bless him, John Lesage made the most gorgeous plexiglass things. And we're experiencing the result of all that today. And so miracles really do happen. And here we are, and we're having the most beautiful service ever. And we're anticipating a beautiful Torah service. And I'm glad to see that all our Torah folks are here, because that's going to be a live part of our service. But as we turn shortly to the Torah service, we turn first to Avinu Malkeinu, and to the second part of our shofar service. So let's go. Let's keep on. Avinu Malkeinu. Thank you, Carrie.
May the maker of peace above make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who dwell on earth. Together we say, Amen. Our service continues with a reflection before Avinu Malkeinu that you can find on page 222. Avinu Malkeinu, loving Father, infinite power, gentle, forgiving, lofty, inscrutable. Avinu Malkeinu. Compassionate Mother, omnipotent Lord, comforting presence, fathomless mystery. Avinu Malkeinu. Our rock and redeemer, life of the universe, close to us always, impossibly far. Avinu Malkeinu. Embracing, confounding, accepting our frailty, decreeing our end. Avinu Malkeinu. None of these are true. None of them are you. And yet we stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love. Avinu Malkeinu. May these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you as we rise for Avinu Malkeinu.
Never
Page 267. It's time for the second set of shofar blasts, zichronot, and we praise the God of memory with this reflection. God of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We affirm it today. Remember, we are a people of noble ideals. Help us attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, Abraham's words, Hineni, here I am. Our memory fades, but you remember all that we have forgotten. Your presence is a throne where all things matter and nothing is lost. Together we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Zocher Habrit. Blessed are you, Adonai, you remember the covenant, you remember us, as we rise for the sounding of the shofar. Tekiah, Shavarim Truah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Truah, Tekiah, Areshet Sifatenu, let the wishes of our lips and yours be pleasing before you, God Most High. Tekiah we call, lovingly, favorably, receive our prayers of zichronot. Amen. Page 226. We turn in our machzorim for Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of the Torah. We bring the Torah into our midst. This very Torah that comes out of this ark, it is our constant. In this world of change, we hold fast to the Torah. When first we appeared on the stage of world history, it was a book that was in our hands. This book, this sacred scroll. And we were told, this is very near to you in your mouth and in your heart. And we were told, you can surely do it. And then we learned, this is where heaven and earth touch. Please rise for the Torah.
Well,
And yes, indeed, we pause right there, and let's see if we can. Yeah, I'm going to put this on gallery view, and I hope you'll put it on gallery view also. And I want you to unmute yourselves, so everybody can unmute themselves, unless of course you've got like a train in your backyard.
Okay.
Yeah, there's someone with a train. Okay, if you've got a train, then mute yourself, but otherwise, please stay unmuted. And we're turning to our Torah service now. And the reason why I want to unmute you is because I want your help in answering this important question. Our portion today is Akedat Yitzchak, the story of the binding of Isaac. You know, yesterday we read the story of creation, and it's so easy to say, why do we read the story of creation on Rosh Hashana? Well, Rosh Hashana is the world's birthday. And so we read the story of that birth on the day when we celebrate that birth. Easy question, easy answer. So I want to ask you this question. We read the story of Akedat Yitzchak, the binding of Isaac. It's a horrific story. It's a dreadful story of God asking Abraham to bring his son up to Mount Moriah. And you know the story. And I think I've had the question asked of me more than any other question during the course of the holidays over the years. And the question is, why do we read this story on Rosh Hashana? And so this year, I'm asking you, anybody have thoughts about why we read Akedat Yitzchak? And Marcia Jacoby has a thought. Go, take it.
I do have a thought. I don't know. I've thought about it for years, and it makes perfect sense to me that Yom Kippur is about humility. It's about stripping away all of the different layers of ego and being absolutely humble. And what says it most than this is really a poetic image of our saying, even our children don't belong to us. And I'll show you how much they don't belong to us. It's the pain that it hits us with and the sort of disgust shows how profound the image is. It's about blood. This child, this son, he's not mine, he's yours. And I'm willing to show this. And God stops him. That's sort of what it means to me. You know, we buy back our firstborn. So that's why I think we do it.
That's a profound answer. Thank you very much for that. And I see that Rick Stahl says it's about redemption. And so Rick, you want to say more about that? How is this story a redemptive story?
Well, I just, I don't know, it's as if something terrible is averted and love and redemption are enabled or established and sustained by divine interaction or intervention.
Wow. That is incredibly beautiful. And Rick and Barbara, I'll tell you that's been the story, your personal story of life as you have
Absolutely. Yes.
From COVID. And we have walked with you, Barbara, and my goodness, how Rick has walked with you.
Oh, he's been wonderful. Yeah, couldn't have done that without him, actually.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I've got something.
Oh, there you are.
It's been a year. You know, the beginning of the year means it's been a year since we've been through the high holy days. And I think it's a reminder of our faith in that as we struggle through the year and it looks difficult, if we look back on our faith and remain faithful and consider our faith and our belief in God, is a reminder that it's our faith that pulls us through. It's a terrible story, but it is a strong reminder. And I think maybe it's a terrible story so that it's a strong reminder of faith and what faith can do and the power of faith.
Beautiful. Ultimately, Abraham's faith set his son free. Any others? So I'm going to invite you to consider this story once again that has actually captivated minds and hearts and souls for generations. This story of faith, this story of redemption, this story of humility, worthy of this moment. And so for our Torah reading this morning, I'm going to let you know that we have 2 aliyot. And so the first portion is going to be chanted by Ken Rosenberg. And the second portion is going to be chanted by Dan Jacoby. And I'm going to let you know both of the people that I'm going to call up for aliyot at the same time right now. I'm going to just talk about them at the same time. They're going to be doing their own aliyot. But for the first bracha, we're calling Lizzie and Hannah Sharp. And for the second aliyah, we're calling Sophie Mervine Schiff. And Hannah Sharp and Sophie Mervine Schiff have a lot in common, especially this year, because they happen to be the 2 people who unwittingly in our congregation had their bat mitzvahs, their banot mitzvah, planned for May for Hannah and June for Sophie. And we were so looking forward to those occasions. And then you know what? Life happened and things changed, and how they went with the flow. And we immediately, we moved Sophie's bat mitzvah from June 6th to October 24th. We thought, well, that's a million years away. Everything will be better on October 24th. And we moved Hannah's from May 16th to Labor Day weekend. No problem. Well, things happened. And so I just want to say that we are looking forward to their rescheduled Banot mitzvah. But more important than that right now, we think that Hannah and Sophie are the most amazing young women in the world. And we're delighted to call them up for our aliyot this morning. So Carrie, if you would put the first Torah reading on the screen, we're all going to get to follow along with that Torah reading. But for people who want to follow along maybe with the English in their prayer books, you can find the blessing on page 230, and the Torah text is on page 240. And Ken, I invite you to find your spot. Just make sure you have your spot there in the Torah. And everybody on the screen gets to see what Ken sees as he's about to chant. And Lizzie and Hannah, I want you to unmute yourselves as I call you forward for the blessing. Ta'amodna liba bat chayim v'rezel v'chana bat liba v'rab la'aliyah rishona. And let's see if Lizzie has her screen on, if she's unmuted. I know we had trouble with their sound before. So
Our video's on.
her video's on, but maybe her sound isn't working. Oh, yes, it is. I hear them now. Ready?
Okay.
Leah's all yours.
All right. Ready? Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Hannah. Baruch Atah Adonai. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. You did that part right. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher b'chayim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notin HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'yahi achar hadvarim ha'eleh v'ha Elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer kachna et bincha et yechidecha asher ahavta et Yitzchak v'lech lecha el eretz haMoriah v'ha'alehu sham le'olah al achad ha'arim asher omar elecha. Vayashkem Avraham baboker vayachavosh echamoro vayikach et shnei ne'arav ito v'et Yitzchak beno vayavarkar etzi olah vayakam vayelech al hamakom asher amar loha Elohim. Vayom hashlishi vayisa Avraham et einav vayay hamakom merachot. Vayomer Avraham el ne'arav shavu lachem po im hachamor ve'ani ve'hana'a nechai ad ko v'nishtachaveh v'nashuva aleichem. Vayikach Avraham et eitzei ha'olah vayisem al Yitzchak beno vayikach biyado et ha'esh v'et ha'ma'achelet vayechu shneihem yachdav. Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham aviv vayomer aviv vayomer hineni v'ni vayomer hinei ha'esh v'ha'etzim v'ayeh haseh le'olah. Vayomer Avraham Elohim Yir'elo Hasa Le'olah B'ni V'yalchu Shneihem Yachdav. Vayavohu Al Hamakom Asher Amar Lo Elohim. Vayiven Sham Avraham et HaMizbeach. Vaya'aroch et ha'etzim. Vaya'akod et Yitzchak beno. Vayisem oto al ha'mizbeach. Mimal la'etzim. Vayishlach Avraham et yado. Vayikach et hama'achelet. Lishchok et beno. Vayikra elav Malach Adonai min hashamayim. Vayomer Avraham Vayomer hineni. Vayomer al tishlach yadcha el hana'ah ve'al ta'as lo me'uma ki ata yadati. Ki yirei Elohim ata v'lo chasachta et bincha et yechidecha mimeni. Vayisa Avraham et einav vayar v'hine ayol achar ne'echas pasvach v'karnav. Vayelech Avraham vayikach et ha'ayol vaya'alehu le'olah kat leitzim beno. Vayikra Avraham Shem hamakom hahu Adonai yireh asher ye'amer hayom v'har Adonai yireh.
Yesher Koach and the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notin haTorah.
Amen. Yesher Koach. Yesher Koach to Ken on a beautiful chanting. Yesher Koach to, again, Lador Vador, to parent and child, to Lizzie and Hannah on your blessing for the Torah portion this morning. Our portion continues with Torah number 2. And Carrie, as Carrie goes to put that up, I want you all to know that, like, Carrie has had a very quick lesson in Judaism. You know, come on, put up the Akedah, Carrie. Oh, stop that video after Oseh Shalom, and you know, she's something else. And let's see if she got that right. Indeed, she did. So Dan Jacoby, I'm going to ask if you found your spot. Do you see your spot there?
Yes.
Okay, and let's see if Sophie Mervine Schiff sees that spot. You can just kiss it with your tallis there. Oh, you don't have a tallis yet because your bat mitzvah is October 24th. You can kiss it with Hannah's tallis or whatever. Are you ready, Sophie?
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to call you up, Sophie, by your Hebrew name. Ta'amod Shira Eliana bat Melech v'Sara la'aliyah shniya.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ויקרא מלאך אדוני אל אברהם שנית מן השמיים ויאמר בי נשבעתי נאום אדוני כי יען אשר עשית את הדבר הזה ולא חשפת את בנך את יחידך כי ברך אברכך והרבה את זרעך ככוכבי השמיים וככל אשר עצת הים וירש זרעך את שאר אויביו ויברככו בזרעך כל גויי הארץ עקב אשר שמעת בקולי וישב אברהם אל נעריו ויקומו וילכו יחדיו אל באר שבע וישב אברהם בבאר שבע.
Sophie, you're up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'haye olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
Yesher koach to Dan and to Sophie. And beautiful, beautiful chanting all the way around. And I want you to know the word that I heard this time. You hear something new every time, but this time as Dan was chanting, I heard the word shenit. And maybe that's a message too, that the angel called shenit a second time. And we get second chances. And we need to take the opportunity to seize upon them when we get a second chance. And so beautifully, beautifully done. And while the Torah is still lingering in our hearts and that beautiful Torah reading is in our midst, we turn to our Misha Berach. And again, I'm going to invite you to pause for a moment, think about those loved ones for whom you would like to offer healing prayers today, and put those names in the chat. And as you put those names in the chat, Cantor Boyle will lead us in our Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Cantor. And we are going to turn now to our Haftorah portion. The Haftorah is from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verses 2 through 7, and you can find the words on page 255, so you'll need that to follow along. Henry Gettenberg is our Haftorah chanter this morning. The bracha before the Haftarah is on page 247. And Henry, are you with us here?
Hineni.
Hineni. That's another lesson for the day from our Torah portion. Hineni, you say Hineni, and I say Hinenu. So we are here as you are here. So we're ready for our Haftarah. Please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar min v'yim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim B'emet Baruch atah Adonai Bocher b'Torah Uv'Moshe Avdo Uv'Yisrael Amo Uv'Indiei Ha'emet Vatzedek Ko Amar Adonai Matzachein Bamidbar Am Tziridei Charev Halo Lehargio Yisrael Merachot Adonai Nira Li V'Avad Olam Avti Al Kein Mishachti Chased Od Evnech V'Nivnei B'Tulat Yisrael Od Tad'i Tu Payich Yatzat B'Mechol Nesachakim Od Tid'ich Ramim B'Harei Shomron Natu Notim V'Chilelu Ki Yesh Yom Karu Notrim B'Har Ephraim Kumu B'Na'alei Tzion El Adonai Eloheinu Kicho Amar Adonai Ranu Yaakov Simcha V'tzahalu B'rosh Hagoyim Hashmiu Hallelu V'yimru Hosha Adonai et Amcha Ei Sherit Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Tzur Kol Olamim Tzadik B'chol Hadorot Hayala Ne'eman Homer B'Yosef Hamdaber Mekayim Shekol Devarav Emet Batzedek Al HaTorah V'al Avodah V'al Hanvi'im V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh V'al Yom HaZikaron Hazeh Shenatata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu V'chavod U'letifaret Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim Lach Umvarchim Otach Yitbarach Shimcha B'fi Kol Chai Tamid Le'olam Va'ed U'varach Hayemet B'kayam La'ad Baruch atah Adonai Melech HaKoresh Mikadesh Yisrael B'yom HaZikaron
Yesher Koach, Henry. And thank you not only for delivering those words so beautifully, but therefore delivering the message of Jeremiah so beautifully, which is a message of hope. And so we especially appreciate that on this day of Rosh Hashana. We're turning now to our closing prayers for the morning. Because those are recorded, I just wanted to say right now before we turn to our Kaddish, I want to say that we include the name Ruth Bader Ginsburg in our Kaddish this morning. Indeed, we say Zecher Tzadik Livracha, a righteous woman she was and will be forever and ever. And you know, her passing at Rosh Hashana, according to Jewish tradition, we say that that kind of passing is meant and saved for the righteous. And so while it is so terribly imperfect, it is also so poignantly perfect. And we will all be thinking of her as when we turn to our Kaddish. Before we do that, we are going to prepare for our last set of shofar blasts. So Carrie, thank you.
Page 282, our last calls on the shofar, our final set of blasts. This time, a call of hope. And we hear the promise of redemption. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. God revealed to us and to our fathers and mothers before us. God of revelation. Play the song of our freedom on the great shofar. Let your banner fly over the gathering of our exiles. Bring back the dispersed. Heal the sick. Let those who are scattered find their way home. Let joyful songs of Zion greet us in Jerusalem, your holy city, the place of our people's eternal happiness. Page 284, we say our blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol truat amo Yisrael, barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel, as we rise for the sounding of the shofar. Tekiah, Shavarim truah. Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Truah, Tekiah Gedolah. On Rosh Hashana, the long Tekiah recalls the moment when the Torah itself was given to us. And therefore, it sounds a triumphant conclusion to the last of our shofar blasts. And we thank you for the gift of hope. Amen.
Arashet sefateinu yerav lefanecha el Rabbeinu Yisrael. Arashet sefateinu yerav lefanecha el Rabbeinu Yisrael.
Page 286. We are nearing the end of our service this morning as we come to our Siyum HaShacharit, our concluding prayers. Aleinu, please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gerula le'yotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kevayei haratzot, velo asamanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'namar, v'chaya Adonai, lemelech ha'aretz, bayom hahu, yihya Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Page 291, our reflection before Kaddish. Yesh kochavim she'oram magia arza. There are stars up above so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. So it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. And at this time, I'd like to ask those in the first 30 days of mourning, still in Shloshim, if you would please rise. And those who died in the past year, who have passed away since last Rosh Hashana, please rise. And those observing a yortzeit, would you please rise? As our thoughts turn to our loved ones, whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past, our hearts open as well to the wider circle of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. As we turn together to page 292, and all rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudasha barichu. La'ela u'la'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiram b'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mermav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. Before our closing song, I want to thank you all for being here this morning, for being present, for helping us bring in a new year. And Cantor and I look forward to seeing many of you at our children's service this afternoon, and then our outdoor Tashlich service at 3:30. So that will be very special, and we'll see you back here in the sanctuary tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
No, you won't.
We're going to turn now to page 294. The Hebrew words are a little tricky, but you just have one, and it's easy. The word is Amen. I think you can handle it.
Hayom, hayom, hayom te'amseinu, hayom te'amseinu, amen. Hayom, hayom, hayom te'vareinu, te'vareinu, amen. Hayom, hayom te'gad aleinu, hayom te'gad aleinu, amen. Hayom, hayom tirashenu l'tova, amen. Hayom, hayom, hayom tichtavenu l'chayim tovim, amen. Hayom, hayom tishma shavatenu, tishma shavatenu, amen. Hayom tiberenu bebin tzidkecha, tzidkecha, amen. Hayom, hayom titmechenu bebin tzidkecha, amen.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Shetichadesh aleinu shana tova u'metuka. Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. Please, God, may it be a good year. Please, God, may it be a sweet one for all of us, for all the world. Amen. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be a sweet year for all of us and for all the world. So it is wonderful to have spent this time together. I do want to update the announcements and just let you know that there's going to be somewhat of an impromptu gathering in memory of Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Madison Green this evening at 7 p.m. So please know that. And our Shabbat Shuvah service next Friday is, we're planning to do it outside, also on the Madison Green at 6 p.m. And then there's another gathering on Monday that Nancy's telling me about, and she's going to just get on and she's going to tell you herself where that gathering will be. But this evening, there is a gathering on the Madison Green at 7 o'clock tonight. And it has been an extra special delight to be able to spend this morning with you all. I see all the guests who are with us and how special that has been to be able to have you with us. The holiest part about this day is not the video, and it's you. And so thank God we have been able to enjoy this day together. So a Shana Tova to you. Have a good and worthy continued Aseret Yemei Tshuva, these 10 days of repentance between Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. And we will see you for a beautiful, beautiful Kol Nidre service on Yom Kippur. Open those mics. open your mics and unmute yourselves, and we're going to say a Shana Tova. Oh, Walter.
Oh.
And Nancy, would you know where that gathering is on Monday evening?
Monday night, my mistake. The Monday evening gathering is at the Guilford Green. The one you announced is at the Madison Green. So they go Sunday and Monday.
Okay, we got that. And Shana Tova to everybody. Walter, special thanks to you. And I see a Torah reader and blessers.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova. I also just